The road we're on is paved in Garth.
Come along on the journey
as we explore
Garthology.
Think of it more as a conversation. I like that. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin. Showtime!
Hey everyone, it's Deb.
And I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess.
Welcome to another episode of Garthology, where we do a deep dive into Garth Brooks, his music, and the people surrounding him. In today's episode, we are going to continue our discussion of Garth's 10th studio album, Gunslinger. So far, we've covered the first 4 songs, from honky-tonk party anthems to emotional ballads. In our last episode, Season 6, Episode 6, we covered songs 3 and 4. Be sure and go back and give it a listen if you haven't heard it yet. As I mentioned previously, Gunslinger was released on November 25th, 2016. The album stays true to Garth's signature mix of honky-tonk, modern country, and rock influences. It includes emotional ballads, rock songs, and signature Garth storytelling songs that reflect on love, life, and classic country themes. Okay, let's kick off part 3 of our look at Gunslinger. Today we're tackling tracks 5 and 6, and let me tell you, these 2 songs could not be more different. Starting with song number 5, which is He Really Loves You.
But take it from me, he really loves you. Down on the shoulder, he's running as fast as he can, dying to hold her, he's truly a desperate man. And he falls to his knees at the wreck. Up close it all looks so much worse.
He Really Loves You was written by Garth Brooks and Bobby Wood. Keyboardist and Nashville cat Bobby Wood has earned the admiration of the musicians he has worked with, including Garth Brooks, George Jones, Willie Nelson, Sam Phillips, and Elvis Presley. I recently did a deep dive episode celebrating the career of Bobby Wood. So if you haven't listened to it yet, be sure and check out episode 28 of season 5 to learn more about Bobby. He Really Loves You is one of those quietly powerful songs that sneaks up on you. At first listen, it might seem like a simple love song, but as you dive deeper into the lyrics, this one will pull at your heartstrings. Our narrator mistakenly believes that the woman he loves has been in a terrible car accident, and it always makes me catch my breath when he realizes it isn't her car. Musically, this song is smooth and understated with a laid-back melody that allows the lyrics to take center stage. The production is simple but effective, letting Garth's vocals really carry the emotion. It's got a warm, almost easygoing sound, but don't let that fool you. This song is packed with depth. It's not my favorite song on the album, but I also don't skip it when I'm listening. Pete, what are your thoughts on He Really Loves You?
Yeah, He Really Loves You is that powerful song that you say. What a story behind this one. I gotta be honest, I wasn't really attached to the song to understand the meaning of it until I did the research. What a way to show that it's okay to tell people your true feelings, because one day it could be too late, I guess is kind of what I got from this song. When he sings that the man rushes back to the scene and realizes that it's not her car, like you were saying, with the story behind it, then goes on to sing how us men don't really know how to say our true feelings and that it's so hard to see that we can't. There are a lot of powerful, powerful lyrics in this song. It's a great song and one that I find myself actually enjoying so much more now that I can follow the story behind the lyrics instead of just the lyrics of the song. Like, I really did just think that it was another love song that Garth Brooks sang, that I loved his voice in, that I thought he sang really well, and the instruments were great, and the song had a good tempo, and it moved along, and it was just a love song until until you go back and you read and listen to the actual lyrics and the story behind it. And you're right, it is one of those that could pull on your heartstrings. It sure did change my mind about the song after listening to it more in depth than just listening to it on the album, I guess. There's also not a lot of Garth songs that kind of end with him still singing along as they end it. And that was one thing on this song that kind of caught my ear. Like, I know that songs just play off and there's probably a few, but this one, it just seems like he's continuously singing and then they just, slowly but surely like quiet it out and then the end of the song. It almost seems like there's more to be said here. There's more to this story or something more. They wanted the song to go on longer, but a great song. We talk all the time about how Garth puts certain songs in certain parts of the album to kind of keep the momentum going. And this one and the lyrics and the story behind it is in the perfect spot at number 5. I think it's fantastic. What about you, Jess? What did you think?
You guys touched on a lot of the things that I put down as my thoughts, but I'm just going to go through the notes as the way that I wrote them down as I was listening to the song. Like you guys have listened to it before. I know it, but I still had to go back and listen to it specifically to make sure. Some of our songs, I'm like, especially the earlier albums, we've known them so well. I had to listen more for the music, but I know the lyrics by heart. I don't need to really listen to it to research it. But especially the newer ones, there's some that I know verbatim and then some that I need to be like, did I really get everything I could have gotten out of that? I probably should listen and not just take a pass at the music. So this was one that I made sure I listened to again to make sure I didn't miss anything in it. And like you both said, it's one that tells such a clear story. It plays on everyone's worst fear, though. I think driving up on an accident and then realizing it's someone you love is like, I think for first responders, that's definitely their worst nightmare. But for anybody to think, you see a bad accident and just your worst nightmare would be for it to be someone that you know. I love how the music picks up as he sings down on the shoulder. He's running as fast as he can because the music speeds up like you would speed up while you're running. And I think that was really interesting. And then it's just instantly relief when he says the car isn't hers. There's so much emotion in that small space of song, so much up and down. It's interesting because the story is sort of being told from an observer's point of view. Like the main refrain, he really loves you. Instead of from the protagonist or main character point of view, it's like a guy's friend telling the woman the guy loves, hey, I know it doesn't seem like it, and he may not tell you, but you should have seen him today when he thought you were gone. He loves you. It's just an interesting perspective, I think, and just a very different way to have a point of view in a song or a story in general. I will say this one is not my favorite song on the album, but I do like it because I find it so interesting musically and the way the story is told. I don't like to rank songs anyway, because sometimes I feel like it's comparing apples and oranges. Like Pete, like you said, every song has its place on the album and, you can't fill the spot for the watermelon with the banana. So the song sits right where it's supposed to on the album, I think. And I do love the music on the outro too. Like you mentioned, I made note of that, but the piano, the drums, everything about it, the way the voice fade out, solid outro for sure.
Yep.
I agree. All right, time to move on to track 6, which, like I mentioned before, it could not be more different from what we just talked about. Song number 6 on Gunslinger is Pure Adrenaline.
Did you hear a different drummer drumming? You waited your whole life for this one day. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Time to unleash the beast inside. Time to show the world what you were already found. Now it's kicking in, pure adrenaline. No one's ever been where you're standing. Of the multitude, God has chosen you. Time to dial it in. Pure adrenaline.
Pure Adrenaline was written by Garth Brooks and Gordon Kennedy. Gordon, who we've discussed many times before on our podcast, co-wrote the hit song Change the World, recorded by Eric Clapton, for which Kennedy and his co-writers received a Grammy Award for Song of the Year in 1996. And I think Gordon has written like 15 songs that Garth has recorded, which is a lot. Plus, he's performed live with Garth at many of his Las Vegas residency shows, so I've seen him a few times, and he is so good live. If you'd like to learn more about Gordon, be sure and visit his website at www.gordon, Gordon, Kennedy, Kennedy, music.com. Pure Adrenaline is one of my favorite songs on Gunslinger. It's another hard-rocking, up-tempo track from Garth, which are always my favorites. This one gets my blood pumping, and it turns out that's exactly what this song was designed to do, because Pure Adrenaline was actually used as the theme song for CBS Sports' Southeastern Conference Football Game of the Week, and used throughout the entire 2016 SEC season, which makes perfect sense when you listen to this song. It's got massive electric guitar riffs, pounding drums, and high-energy vocals that make it feel more like a rock song than a traditional country track. Once I found out about them using this song for the football games, I did even more research on it. And I found out that Garth and Gordon wrote customized lyrics to Pure Adrenaline for every football game matchup based on the teams that were playing. So they spent a day recording a different video and new lyrics for each matchup that was coming during the football season. I think that's so cool. And I don't remember this from 2016. Do you guys remember that being a thing?
No.
I don't.
No, I didn't either.
And I learned that, doing the research as well. But I'm not a big college football guy, so maybe that's why I didn't.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a huge football person. I know it. I understand it. But I would have thought if Garth's name had been floating around, I would have watched it, because I would have been watching it just for the video and to hear the specially written lyrics. So, because I was interested after finding all of this out, I dug around a little and I did find 3 versions online still. The first one I found was the first game of that season. It was Texas A&M versus UCLA. So if you search CBS 2016 college football intro on YouTube, you might be able to find the video also. And it's the whole video of the song. So if you want to see it, go look for it. The next one I found was Alabama versus Tennessee. And again, just search YouTube using the title Alabama @ Tennessee 2016 CBS opening, and it should come up for you. Next, the final one I found was the Alabama versus Texas game. For that one, search the title Alabama vs. Texas A&M 2016 CBS opening. It's so cool to watch those videos and to hear the lyric changes. I love it. Plus, on Garth's Facebook Live Inside Studio G show on Monday, August 15th, 2016, he also talked about the filming of the videos and the different lyrics. And he even showed some behind the scenes filming magic. So definitely check that out on his Facebook page. Just go to his videos, then scroll down until you see the one titled Pure Adrenaline Parts 1 and 2. Now, getting back to Garth's recording of Pure Adrenaline. I know some country music purists might say this doesn't sound like country, and they wouldn't be totally wrong. This song leans heavily into arena rock territory, but let's not forget, Garth has always been about pushing boundaries. He grew up on Kiss and arena rock just as much as he did on Haggard and Jones. And you can hear those influences all over this track. This is Garth saying, hey, country music can be loud and fun and intense too. And honestly, I'm here for it. Like I said, this is one of my favorites on the album. Pete, your turn. What do you have on Pure Adrenaline?
A lot of what I have is a lot of what you had. Pure Adrenaline is a badass song. And in the beginning, I really didn't I didn't love it in the beginning. And I'm interested to see if it changes the way that I feel going back and watching those videos. Because in the research, I did say it is like, to me, it's just got that rock feeling, right? Like the same thing you said, like that Kiss, that kind of era. I didn't hear a lot of country in it, but it didn't surprise me, I guess. It is super cool how this song was made for the SEC Game of the Week and how they would change the lyrics for the games being played that week. So that's pretty cool to me. And I'm wondering if I'll enjoy the song a little bit more going back and watching the videos, because it's a song that I turn up, but I'll say for the song itself, it just seems like there's not a whole heck of a lot of lyrics. There's just a lot of repetitiveness in it. And I don't know if that's why I just thought, listen, it's a fun and it's a loud one. It's good to get the hype going, right? And get that blood flowing. And I could see it being played in a locker room or something like that before a big game. I could see all of that, but it was just an average song for me. Like, I would miss the song if it wasn't on the album, but this would be a song that would be on the album I could have a conversation with while it was playing in the background. So I'm hoping maybe I'll go back and check out those videos and see if that changes my mind. But when you listen to it and you've got nobody in the room, got them on the headphones, that song will get you going. I'm telling you. What about you, Jess? What do you think?
I don't really connect with this song at all. I don't think it's a bad song, but it's never one that I've wanted to skip back to and play a second time. And that's really rare for me on any Garth album. Like, I pretty much repeat everything until I know it. And that's not one that I particularly want to skip back to. I think for me personally, it's just too much. It's a lot, like when you sit and listen one track at a time, and I sit down to listen to this, it's a lot of steel guitar, drums, horns, screamy Garth. And I don't mean that in a bad way, more like a stylistic choice, like that type of music. It's just everything happening at once, and my brain's a little overloaded by it. And he's got other songs like that where there's a lot going on, like Fever and Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up, which I love. But this one just doesn't grab me for whatever reason. And maybe because it is less country. I don't know. I adored Chris Gaines, though, so I don't think it's necessarily that. I like the intro music, and I like the line, "No one's ever been where you're standing, of the multitudes, God has chosen you." I like the beat of how those lines are delivered. I do find myself, like Pete said, if I'm listening to it, I'm tapping my toes because the music's really raucous and catchy. So it does have that going for it. And now, Deb, with what you said with the whole football thing, the vibe makes a lot more sense. So, maybe if you need something to like work out or something like that, this would be probably the right track off of this album for you. But definitely, I would not say it's like my top 3 on the album.
That actually makes me happy because I like that we have differing opinions.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. And it just goes to show that he can create this whole album where Jess likes this one and I love this one. And you know what I mean? And there's something there for all of us. And I love that. Yeah. And I highly recommend you guys check out those videos. They're super cool. They did a great job editing it with I don't know, the football players, they don't mean anything to me. I don't know any of them, but it's still really cool. They just did a great job editing it all together. The band and Garth look like they're having so much fun. So seriously, go check them out. I cannot recommend them highly enough. Do it. It's super cool. So there you have it. 2 more tracks from Gunslinger showing 2 completely different sides of Garth Brooks. We've got the He Really Loves You, a song full of heartache and self-reflection, and Pure Adrenaline, a song that hits like a shot of espresso straight to the veins. And that's what makes Gunslinger such a good album to me. Just when you think you know what's coming next, Garth throws in a surprise.
That's absolutely true.
Right? And I think this album's the prime example of that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's a little bit different for everybody. You find different things on there. And Garth is really good at doing that and finding the right songs for the right spot. Because how boring would the album be if it was like, this is the kind of song that this album's going to be, and it was 10 of the same kind of song.
Right.
You'd get so bored 2 songs in.
Yeah. You'd be like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
Have you checked out our website at garthology.com yet? If not, stop by today to listen to all of our past episodes. And remember to subscribe to our podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Then be sure and share us with everyone you know. That way you can help your friends in low places become Garthologists too.
Yeah, and speaking of friends in low places, if you guys are on social media, so are we. You can find us on Facebook. We are at www.facebook.com/GarthologyCast. And then we're on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and TikTok at GarthologyCast there. So please cruise on over, send us a message, tell us what you think about these songs or this album or anything else that you guys would like to hear from the podcast. And we'll get back to you over there. But we do appreciate the likes, the tweets, the retweets, the shares. Any kind of interaction with you guys and the podcast is some of our favorite times. So keep it up, and we appreciate the support.
New episodes of Garthology are available on the 7th, 17th, and 27th of each month. Please join us for our next episode. Until then,
thanks for joining us for today's episode of Garthology. And I'm Deb.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. And remember, love will always win.
Finish it! Finish it!
Bloopers.
Welcome to another episode of Garthology, where we do a deep...
It's interesting though, because the story's sort of being told from them. I'm gonna act like I haven't eaten anything today either.
Pure Adrenaline was Wow.